Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by my guest, Bruce Adams from Hive Estate Agency Systems. Hello, Bruce. How are you doing?
Hi, David. I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Bruce, we were talking a little bit off camera about a very sort of commonplace problem over the past sort of 12 to 18 months. Yes, agents have had loads and loads of business flowing through their door, but sometimes you've got to sort of be able to get between the buyer and the seller and work out who the best parties are that you're going to be dealing with, and getting people prepared for that sale is half the battle won, because we know that a lot of sales that fall through are due to people waiting on information. And that in such a fast moving market, or any market really, with a digital world that we live in today, the propensity for a buyer's head to get turned towards another property, that could happen at any moment. So really, you need to keep them focused, and you need to give them as much information upfront as possible. So your best chances of getting a sale that stays together and has some momentum is by providing upfront information. And I'm hoping that's where you guys come in.
Yeah, absolutely. So good to see you, David. Thank you for giving us some airtime to discuss our IPAC service. Absolutely right. I think the last 12 to 18 months has really shown, the log jam that's possible when things do get busy. And what we do specifically with our IPAC service is to focus on legally preparing clients and operating a customer journey that just streamlines, removes duplication, and critically, rather than keeping information behind the scenes, present that information to buyers up front and ahead of them making an offer. As you say, the more time you have, before a property completes, the more chance you've got of another property being found, a problem occurring. So the quicker you get it done, the better. The more information, it means there are less queries brought up, and it just makes it smoother.
And I suppose with everything, as with everything in life, it's better to be upfront if there are issues, and to present those to a buyer, so that then you don't get further down the line where everybody started to spend money on the process. The vendor's already invested, the buyer may have taken surveys or whatever, and something that you could very easily have displayed up front um, creeps out of the woodwork at a later stage, and it just kills the whole goodwill of a
Mm.
sale sometimes. And so I suppose the key is an agent understanding that not only is there common sense in coming forward and presenting as much upfront information to a buyer as possible, but more than that, we actually have a duty to do that. We need to disclose material facts about a property. Why wouldn't you want to do this?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I think it's an old adage now of trying to present a property in the best possible light. You've really got to be upfront, because you can't hide information that's going to come out. The agents have an obligation, to provide information upfront to their clients or to their buyers. And we've got a perfect product that not only does that, but we actually obtain the information and provide it, for the agent free of charge. Um,
It's superb, and as I understand it, the journey with an iPack starts really. It mirrors exactly the client's journey through your business. So everybody that onboards a new client, if they're a seller, then you're going to need to AML check them at the beginning of the process, and get all of that information together. AML checks are something that's hit our industry press again this week. There was a story in there about the HMRC making more spot checks on agents than ever before. It's something that you absolutely have to have in place. And it's something that you need to not only just be doing, but you need to be doing it well. You need to be able to prove that there is a proper risk assessment in place for each and every client that you deal with. You offer that outsourced solution that takes that headache away, but more importantly, and this caught my eye, it takes the cost away as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, our product's called iPack. And so where we work with agents, we provide every listing with an iPack, which in essence is a digital home sellers pack. It's triggered in one sense by the agent's CRM system that generates the actual website for each property automatically at the outset. But the secondary trigger point is an AML referral to Lifetime Legal. So part of our service behind the scenes, and the first step on our customer journey, is a complimentary service by Lifetime Legal to carry out an outsourced compliance service for all of the buyers and sellers of our agents. That includes the ID verification. It includes the automatic allocation of enhanced due diligence and resolving. So from the agent's perspective, they are making a referral in our system. Every client is identified and risk assessed, and they're returned an outcome of either a pass or a fail. So one, it's very quick, but two, specifically talking about spot checks, it means that, having a fully auditable solution that, that's run, by people rather than automated processes will give total peace of mind that you would be covered in such an inspection.
And I suppose, taking a cynical view, the reason this is free and that they're able to do it on this level is that they want to have as many conversations as they possibly can. If you're an agent that's a little bit shy about making referrals or following through on that process, and I know a lot of agents' income, yes, it will come from the fees that they have, but it's also going to come from those referrals that make up such a great percentage of their income every year. This is a lovely way of streamlining that process, really, and giving yourself the best chance of making those referrals from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything starts from the AML procedure, and it's quite a unique time that we use in our customer journey to introduce conveyancing quotations. And the core message of our service is about being legally prepared. So we have a very attention to detail approach in how we work in close partnership with our agents, with IPACs, where we provide them with a really great visual aid to introduce that concept of being legally prepared right at the valuation stage. So when the client is being AML checked and then Lifetime Legal are talking to them about the benefits of being legally prepared, it really helps with that conversion, to the conveyancing being instructed. From that point onwards, the onboarding work that we do in terms of having the Law Society TA protocol forms completed and the title packs put together, it's just a seamless process. And we're using that information in the IPAC to give to agents to show to their buyers up front of viewings or certainly making an offer. And it just helps immeasurably. I'd like to show, if I may, an example.
Yeah, please. I was going to say that we should let the packs do the talking.
Absolutely. The star of the show should have some airtime. So, what I would do when I talk to agents, we have a vanilla branded version here, and it's quite key to stress that when we work with agents, that every listing gets one. It's not an enhanced or featured listing approach. Everyone gets the same level of service from us. And so the agent has branding on the pack. So I have a selection of different packs here. I've got a kerfuffle version actually that I put together.
Super.
One hit from Mars Bar, just to give a flavour of the styling and different brand feels. The IPACs are generated immediately, and because they're designed to work alongside or replace standard property details in this sort of digital age we now live in, we put in all of the property data from the agent CRM system, so you have the full set of details with the images and media files and floor plan, location, and because it gives one central resource, to buyers to look at everything. But the key section here is this property information tile. So where we facilitate the completion of the transaction forms, we put in the data from those. So although they're held in the back office as PDFs ready for the conveyancing, we showcase this information and encourage agents to provide it to their buyers so they can see very detailed information that the client's completed right at the outset. And you've got a key highlights table. So, and especially, when you're looking at leasehold properties and you're looking at things like length of leases, this information that sometimes takes so long to be uncovered is just highlighted immediately with how we work and because of our integrations with Lifetime Legal.
More importantly, this is all ready for the solicitors to use in the process. So if I came along and I said, look, I have my own solicitor, I wanted to use them, can they rely on the information that's already been provided? I presume the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk to an agent, the launch process, part of that would be to identify what solicitors those agents use. We would need to talk to them to ensure that they're happy with the processes that we have. We have solicitors that we work with that we can also provide access to. But what it does is it ensures that the IPAC isn't a standalone product, and then the client isn't going to be asked to complete any of this information again. And that's what's so key, is because it's not a quick process. As much as you can make it smooth, it's a lot of effort to complete a set of property or PIQs. So we want them to be sort of have the peace of mind that it's done once, it's used, it saves time, and we're also reusing that data elsewhere to help reduce fall throughs by keeping buyers informed better at an early stage.
Fantastic. So I can see it's got the land registry details there as well. Does that confirm the boundaries of the property and the title?
Yeah, so the land registry section, through the compliance procedure, we're obtaining copies of the OC1 and the title plan. So it's all fed through into the IPAC showing the boundary, as well as the details in the OC1. We've got an update coming soon where we will be sending out proactive custom alerts to agents about things that we might see on the OC1. So a length of lease would be a kind of a typical one where we can send an alert to say, right, we've identified a leasehold property. The length of lease is identified as X number of years. So really useful information that the branch would really want to know at an early stage.
Yeah.
But we because of our previous products, we actually hold a lot of open source government data sets. And so to fuse together the legally prepared elements and the property details element, we put on the local schools and the results, across all the different key stages. So off to a very detailed level, all in proximity to the property in question. The same with transport links, health, local authorities, broadband speeds, mobile strength. But a key part about the IPAC, and obviously we're looking at improving the customer journey from listing to completion. But for the agent, because these are live websites, we can actually use them as a lead generation source. And so we've placed a number of different call to actions on here. So at the top, we've got links to the agent's request evaluation, book of viewing. We've also got a repeater advert at the bottom to cross-link to the agent's website. We've also got, I'll just switch here, a fairly recent feature that we've released called Make an Offer, which means that buyers can actually submit a full offer via the IPAC. And it's actually developed as an iframe within the IPAC. So agents could use this as a standalone offer submission form within their website specifically to each property. So the offer details can be completed, joint, single, they can upload documents with their agreement in principle, solicitor information if they have it. And this is all then signed and sent to the agent to then screen in the branch before then
they sign it as well. That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
So it just makes sense to kind of push the IPAC rather than being a static source of information, to provide a multifaceted product that provides additional benefits to the agents. And so we position IPACs as a no-brainer. From the point of the AML service, it's complementary. It saves time and gives peace of mind. The IPACs provide the perfect visual guide to introducing the concept of being legally prepared to vendor clients. They're a free tool to use for buyers to inform them. But we also provide these lead generation sources for financial services, offers, and valuations. So there's no reason, for agents not to use the service, because it's only providing benefits. It's helping buyers and sellers move quickly, and we also pay referral fees where agents, want to receive a fee as well. So they actually get paid to use the service.
It looks, I mean, the UX is superb. It's easy to use. It's really presentable. The agent's branding is ever present, so it's there at every step of that journey. Could you use this as a with your potential sellers, as sort of demonstrate with them the level of detail that you do go into when you're listing a product? So I'm presuming that not only is this great from converting buyers to future sellers, but you can actually use this to showcase what you do to a seller. So if you're walking through a door on a market appraisal, showing them this system and saying, look, this is what we do for each and every property that we list, presuming that's an instruction winner.
Yeah, and that's by far been, the biggest feedback we've had from the early adopters of iPACs is their impacts, because they're a great visual tool. I mean, if you have an agent that walks through your door and they're able to demonstrate that they market your property with its own website full of local information, and not only that, it's a fully legally prepared pack, and it's part of their standard marketing package. It just provides that no-brainer element to that client. Why would they be using any other agent if they could have this with this agent? And to that end, we work very closely with our launches to provide PDFs and training, to provide localized branded demo iPads for them specifically to use on valuations to get that message across. But the benefits from then is that as they introduce the AML call from Lifetime Legal, it just flows seamlessly. They hand the baton over. It means the clients are expecting the call. They know more of the content because they've just seen it visually. It's rather than just being told, right, you're going to get a call for an AML check. It's just set out in a smoother way.
It looks superb, and I can see exactly how agents will use it, not only to speed up the process, but also to as a lead generation source on the front end of things. So when you need to convince a client that you're the agent that's worth going with, and then also the bits that add value along the way. So the referral fees, the AML checks, all of these things that agents tend to sort of break their heads over, and it costs money. These are things you need to invest in. These are the things that you absolutely can't afford to get wrong. So if you are not AML checking correctly, that could come back to bite you. If you're not providing upfront information about a property, that can also come back. But this kind of gives you that safety net, and it's all beautifully presented. I love it.
Thank you. I mean, everything that you've seen is run by people, and I think that's a key difference, especially when it comes to the AML. There's a high level of attention to detail and of complicated admin that's processed on volume quickly, and with trust.
It's superb. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today, and yeah, good luck with it. It looks like a great product.
Thanks, David. Really appreciate your time.
No problem.